I'm David Hart, Executive Vice President at the Florida Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line, where our special guest today is Representative Kathleen Passidomo from Naples. Welcome, Representative.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad you could be with us. Representative, for the last 3 years, you have really provided leadership on an important issue to the Florida Chamber and the business community related to legal reform. I know you're aware that we do a lot of things right in Florida for the business community in particular, but one area that we're lacking, and a national study, by the way, shows that we're in the bottom 10 of the country in terms of our legal climate for business. And we recognize that we've got to do more in the area of legal reform to end frivolous and expensive lawsuits. And I want to ask you about a bill that you've worked on for 3 years called Fair Settlement, and maybe describe to our viewers what is the problem out there that your legislation seeks to solve.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Florida law provides that insurance companies have an obligation to act in good faith to their insured to timely and efficiently settle their claims. In the case of a first-party insurance claim, that is, the insured files a claim with their insurance company, the insurance company has a period of time after the insured notifies them of the loss to settle the claim. And if they don't act expeditiously and they don't act in good faith during that period of time, they could be held to be in bad faith. The problem with the issue of bad faith is that if an insurance company is in bad faith, not only are they required to pay the amount of the insurance claim, which is based on the policy amount, they're going to be responsible for all damages that the insured suffers by their failure to act in good faith. In the case of a third-party claim, and that is, maybe an example would be easier, and most people try to use the automobile accident. So the driver, who is the insured, is in an accident and runs into the claimant, the third party. And the claimant then files a claim against the driver, who is insured's insurance company. The problem we have there now is there is no way for the insurance company to settle that claim expeditiously after notice, because there is no such process in a third-party scenario as there is in a first. So what has been happening in those instances, the third-party claimant attorney will notify the insurance company, there's been a loss, your insured has damaged my client, pay that claim in a ridiculously short period of time, and while you're at it, provide all this information that we need, and if you don't do that, you're in bad faith. And unfortunately, because we don't have a judicial process to address that, the insurance companies are now faced with a dilemma. Do they pay the claim without having time to investigate and respond, or even try to respond to that request, or are they going to be held in bad faith? So there have been some courts that have said periods such as like 10 days is enough time to respond. And if you didn't respond, you're in bad faith. And so the insurance company could go from perhaps liability for $10,000 or $100,000 or whatever the premium is to millions and millions when the claimant has suffered great loss. And what this bill will do is it very simply gives the insurance carrier a period of 45 days after the claimant notifies them of the loss and demands the policy limits to pay the policy limits, and the insured is released from liability. And if the insurance company does not respond within that 45 days, then they can be held in bad faith.
Sounds like a pretty reasonable and simple solution you've devised to try to reduce what we know is happening out there, which is that some trial attorneys are trying to play gotcha and set up situations where they can break into a much higher lawsuit way beyond the policy limits and way beyond what's reasonable. So I congratulate you on that. I want to tell you that we recently came across a statistic that I thought was important, and that is that in Florida, an average family of 4 right now is paying somewhere in around $3,400 a year in what I would call a lawsuit abuse tax. And so we know these cases that are unfounded and unreasonable can really drive up the cost of everything we as consumers pay for, whether that's our insurance or goods and services. And so, Representative, thank you for your outstanding work on this legislation. You've already passed one committee 8-4, and that's terrific. And we look forward to working with you as we move this the rest of the way through the process. Thank you for being with us today. And for our members, thank you for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.